Hey, Cross Legacy family, so glad that you're able to join us today. And listen, we've been having this deepening conviction over these last few weeks regarding the subject of evangelism. And particularly, we really have the conviction that all of you have been strategically placed to reach the world around you. And for that reason, we just wanted to put together just some a few tips on how to engage evangelism, particularly what we call relational evangelism, which is just the idea of being able to reach the people within your sphere of influence. And so we thought about different ways to do it, but we just decided to do this in video form. That way you can access it at home and you can continue. You can go back through it again and really get this in your heart. And we really believe that as you get these things in your heart, you're going to realize that this is not as complicated as sometimes it may seem, and not as intimidating. Then we hope that you really feel empowered to really reach the people around you through these series of videos. So we're going to be basing our conversation around the around Acts chapter number 8, and we're going to be in verse number 26. It says, "Now an angel of the Lord said to Philip, 'Go south to the road, the desert road that goes down from Jerusalem to Gaza.' So he started out, and on his way, he met an Ethiopian eunuch, an important official in charge of the treasury of Candace, queen of the Ethiopians. This man had gone to Jerusalem to worship, and on his way home was sitting in his chariot reading the book of Isaiah the prophet. The Spirit told Philip, 'Go to the chariot and stay near it.' Then Philip ran up to the chariot and heard the man reading Isaiah the prophet. 'Do you understand what you are reading?' Philip asked. 'How can I,' he said, 'unless someone explains it to me?' So he invited Philip to come up and sit with him. The eunuch was reading this passage of Scripture. He was led like a sheep to the slaughter, and as a lamb before the shearers is silent, so he did not open his mouth. In his humiliation, he was deprived of justice. Who can speak of his descendants? For his life was taken from the earth.' The eunuch asked Philip, 'Tell me, please, who is the prophet talking about, himself or someone else?' Then Philip began with that very passage of Scripture and told him the good news about Jesus. Now, in Acts 21:8, Philip is explicitly called Philip the evangelist. And this is why Acts 8 is actually so powerful and so insightful, because it gives us the first and maybe the only recorded real life picture of what evangelism looks like through the ministry of Philip, the first acknowledged evangelist. And what's amazing is this, that Philip's ministry was not so much loud or advert. It was not a stage that he conducted his ministry from, and it was not a crowd that he was speaking to, but rather in this amazing example of the first evangelist conducting his ministry was focused on one person. And uh, sometimes we often think of evangelists as crowd chasers or pulpit holders or stage preachers, but Philip challenges this image entirely. His most powerful moment didn't happen in front of a multitude, but beside one man on a desert road. His assignment wasn't to gather an audience, it was to meet a soul. And that's the essence of true evangelism. The heart of an evangelist is it's not platform driven, but rather it's people driven. Philip didn't need a passport, a pulpit, or a platform. He just needed obedience. He didn't fly across continents to find a mission field. He walked down a road and found one man. And that's a reminder for all of us. We don't have to travel thousands of miles to go to a mission field. Sometimes the mission field is sitting in our break rooms, riding in our Uber, living in our own homes. The mission field isn't always out there. Sometimes it's right here within arm's reach. God doesn't just call us to distant lands, He calls us to divine moments in ordinary spaces. And that brings us to this truth. The most powerful pulpit to reach the world is not the church building, it's wherever you build relationship. Your dinner table can be a pulpit. Your DMs can be a pulpit. Your coffee meetups, phone calls, and even those random moments in the grocery store parking lot can all become divine appointments when your heart is tuned to God's Spirit. We often underestimate the power of reaching one person. But think about it, Philip reached one person, and that one man carried the gospel back to an entire region. History and tradition suggest that the Ethiopian eunuch became the foundational figure in the spread of Christianity in Africa. That one chariot conversation may have opened up an entire continent. You never know how God will multiply through that one encounter that you have. Philip doesn't just wait for the eunuch to show up in church, he goes to him. He listens, he asks questions, and he sits on his chariot. That's evangelism at its purest. Not preaching at people, but walking with them toward Christ. So when we talk about relational evangelism, Philip's story becomes our blueprint. The mission field isn't always out there. Sometimes it's the person who's already in your orbit, already scrolling your social media, already walking past your desk, already eating at your table. In other words, you may already be standing on your mission field. You just haven't seen it that way yet.